Wilt thou not care for him, console him, bless him, and guard him while he is well, and when he is sick? And put him first in your life, and follow him alone, for as long as the two of you are alive. Yes, I will. Anger and confusion have spread around the palace following the discovery that Queen Camilla was seen wearing a cherished tiara that rightfully belongs to Catherine. The royal family is in disarray following the theft of the relic, and Camilla is the object of widespread suspicion. Why, though, did Camilla take Catherine's tiara? And how her choices will play out in the future? Come along as we reveal all the secrets, an image that speaks volumes. The photo session began with the usual elegance and protocol expected of royal photo shootings. It appeared like a picture-perfect family shot thanks to the picturesque location, spotless attire, and composed smiles. To everyone's expectations, everything was perfect. Majesty in demeanor, charisma in presentation, and an abiding interest in the past. Symbols of power, solidarity, and enduring beauty are common in these paintings. This time, though, something little and nearly unseen drew attention from all directions. It was the focal point of the story once it was detected. In the center of the portrait stood Queen Camilla. As always, she radiated sophistication in her stunning gown, which shimmered in the illumination. Her demeanor was serene, her look gentle, and her bearing royal. Her attire and features weren't the only things people were staring at, though. Their focus was captivated by the dazzling tiara delicately perched atop her head. A fragile and dazzling relic of royal heritage, it was the Cartier Hollow Tiara. It was more than a lovely crown to a lot of people. It had a deeper meaning. It was a sentimental item, particularly for Princess Catherine, who wore it on her wedding day, a day that would go down in history as a watershed moment in her life. For a long time, that picture of Catherine radiating love and optimism lingered in people's minds. Suddenly, though, a new head adorned with the identical tiara appeared. Fans wasted little time noticing the photos released to the public. In a flash, questions and thoughts were flying over social media. Whose tiara was that? I don't understand why Queen Camilla wore it. I don't understand. Those who kept tabs on the royal family could tell it wasn't an arbitrary decision. There was more to the tiara than met the eye. It represented the serene elegance and unassuming might of Catherine, with her expanding responsibilities inside the realm of royalty. Some started to question whether there was a hidden significance to this decision. Was it an accidental misunderstanding or an intentional attempt to convey something subtly? There were no responses from the palace. They said nothing. Still, there are moments when a monarch's quiet speaks more than any amount of rhetoric could. It was an emotional occasion for many who had watched the royal family for a long time. There has always been more than just glitz in royal jewelry. They are artifacts brimming with past events. They narrate tales. They are symbols of love, power, and legacy that are passed down through the generations. People try to decipher its significance whenever a tiara similar to this one resurfaces. They are perplexed by the message conveyed by the glimmer of diamonds and the arc of silver. This picture made me feel things. It prompted speculation on the nature of Catherine and Camilla's relationship. Is there conflict? Were you trying to convey your authority subtly? On the other hand, was it just some discarded jewelry? For whatever reason, the image evoked strong emotions in viewers, something powerful but unsure. Many people looked at and discussed the picture as time went on. It stayed in people's minds. Rather, they gazed more intently. They recalled the history of the tiara. Their minds wandered to the story of Catherine, the timid bride who rose to become a powerful queen. And they pondered whether this portended a transformation, an unseen but stealthily expanding force. Dresses and jewelry weren't the only things people noticed when they looked at the photo. Emotions were discerned. They conjured up the scenes in their heads. Their minds wandered to what lay ahead. As the palace walls were undergoing all those subtle transformations, what started out as a painting, meant to convey tranquility, ended up brimming with curiosity, kindness, and subtle awe. However, we must return to the tiara's origin in order to truly grasp its significance. Here it is, a tale about a delicate tiara. This crown's history goes well beyond that of a single nuptial ceremony. Looking back to its origins will help us comprehend why it continues to move so many. People today. A lovely tale of love, honor, tradition, and power lies buried within its little jewels. Princesses and queens of today didn't always wear the Cartier halo tiara, which had humble beginnings as a thoughtful present. The future King George VIII, the Duke of York, was planning a surprise for Queen Elizabeth in 1936. He commissioned the renowned jeweler Cartier to design a platinum and diamond tiara. Before their lives took an irrevocable turn, he gave her a beautiful present, a token of his love. Featuring more than 739 brilliant cut diamonds and 149 baguette-cut diamonds arranged in a delicate scroll pattern, this little tiara was bestowed upon her coronation as Queen Elizabeth, a title she later assumed as the Queen Mother. It gave the impression of a halo when worn, since it looked to glow. It was named after that. The little glimmer didn't make a big splash. It had depth, purpose, and was soothing. With an air of subdued pride, the Queen Mother donned the tiara. Instead of trying to draw attention to herself, she displayed composed power. At a London charity event in support of women's concerns, she wore it for the first time in public. People couldn't help but gawk at the tiara's delicate sparkle, even if it was quite plain in comparison to other royal ornaments. The Queen Mother continued to adore her small tiara, even as she progressively wore larger and more magnificent diamonds to significant occasions throughout the years. On Princess Elizabeth's 18th birthday in 1944, she presented it to her as a gift, and it was a lovely gesture. It was a delicate heirloom passed down from mother to daughter. It was more than just jewelry. When the globe was in the midst of a terrible war, Princess Elizabeth, later Queen Elizabeth II, rarely donned the tiara. Even though she had a plethora of jewels at her disposal as queen, she never lost sight of the significance of tiaras. Princess Margaret, her younger sister, wore it elegantly when she borrowed it from her mother. Princess Anne took it upon herself to wear it with pride in the 1970s after receiving it from Margaret. Yet after that, it disappeared. It remained hidden away in royal storage for a long time. Then, in 2011, a miraculous event transpired. It was Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge's own choice for her wedding day attire. It was a lovely surprise, and remembering the tiara's past brought back a flood of memories. Just a crown it had become. She was bound to the line of royal women who came before her by this thread. There was a tangible bridge between the past and the present for all present. Everyone was taken back to long-forgotten memories by the tiara. The tiara reappeared on Queen Camilla many years later. It seemed like any other royal jewel to some, while others got a strange vibe from it. Over the years, several women have lovingly shared the tiara. Questions were raised when Camilla wore it, a figure with a more complex role in royal history. Did it have any deeper significance, or was it merely an aesthetic decision? Jewelry conveys meaning in royal life that words alone cannot. There are emotions associated with the form, the glimmer, and the past. Diamonds aren't the only stone in this tiara. It contains tales of romance, mild competition, and the passage of time, a crown of grace for Catherine. No one will ever forget what happened on April 29th, 2011. In anticipation of one glorious moment, the wedding of Catherine Middleton and Prince William, people from all walks of life and all corners of the globe huddled around their televisions and phones. Everyone appeared to stop what they were doing the moment Catherine entered Westminster Abbey. A delicate ivory lace garment, exquisite in its simplicity, adorned her figure. She wore a serene smile, and she moved with elegance at every turn. The Cartier halo tiara, delicately perched atop her head, however, was the focal point of all eyes. It glistened softly. Not only was it a crown, but it also held tails. It was lent to Catherine by Queen Elizabeth for the occasion and had previously belonged to her. A profound message was sent by that subtle present. You have been welcomed into the palace. Catherine was free to select any tiara she liked. Something daring or contemporary might have been in her possibilities. However, she opted for the one that had previously been worn by Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Mother. Though gentle, the decision was firm. It demonstrated that she wasn't attempting to alter every aspect. She was conveying her admiration. "I understand this role," she announced to the Globe. "I will respect that. It was well documented. For all her beauty and generosity, some thought she was the next Princess Diana. Catherine was neither Queen Elizabeth nor anyone else, who saw a mirror image of her in her tranquility and subtle power. Her compassionate nature made her her own person, articulate, powerful, and subdued. Someone in the palace reportedly said that Catherine knew how to use silence to her advantage. She was speechless on her wedding day because of the tiara's gentle light. Even if her decisions were self-explanatory, that day not everyone was happy. Clutches were being passed around in the background. There were rumors that Queen Camilla was dissatisfied with Catherine's tiara choice. A more understated look, unrelated to Queen Elizabeth, would have been her dream for Catherine to wear, she had thought. It's possible that Catherine's choice, elegant though it was meant to be subtle. Style wasn't the only consideration. Interpretation was key. The tiara served as a connection to the monarchs who came before her. Perhaps that caused some people to feel excluded. Before the wedding, Camilla had spoken about her feelings. Contrary to Catherine's earlier consideration of a flower crown, she insisted that a tiara befit a royal bride. Camilla preferred to adhere to established norms. Catherine consented, but she chose a tiara that exuded power and history in her own unique manner. It was respectful. However, it possessed profound power as well. Even though Catherine didn't say anything specifically, several people took her actions as a message. The tiara made headlines once again as Camilla wore it to another major event. Did it serve as a demonstration of camaraderie, or was there a more sinister purpose? Although it was not explicitly said, in the life of a monarch, deeds frequently convey more meaning than words. Subtly, the halo tiara vanished following Catherine's nuptials. It had been hidden for quite some time. The next thing you knew, it was back, and it was affecting Camilla. It was well documented. What gives? I don't understand. Was it a handout, a change in authority, or something else totally? Even if we never get the complete story, at least this much is certain. There was more to Catherine's wedding than meets the eye. A subtle but significant event had passed, and it had an impact on the royal family's trajectory going forward. Big words and a massive crown weren't necessary for her. She introduced herself to the world with a gentle grin and considerate decisions. That woman was more than a bride, a symbol of a new sort of royalty, one that honors tradition while embodying quiet strength, kindness, and grace. She became more than that. The crown was more than just a symbol of grandeur to Catherine, though. How did she perceive it? We'll have to see. Upon the tiara's repeated speech, something was subtly absent following Catherine's 2011 wedding. Neither a person nor a story could be found within it. Behold the exquisite Cartier hollow tiara. She had lost sight of the tiny and lovely crown that had adorned her head at one of the most attended weddings in history. At subsequent royal occasions, photographs, and special festivities, it vanished. The tiara seemed to have slipped into a deep slumber, concealed within the recesses of time and memory. Even though Catherine wasn't technically the owner of the tiara, many people started to believe that she was. It appeared as though the tiara was closely associated with Catherine, much like Princess Diana's renowned blue sapphire ring. It entered her narrative on the day of her wedding. It was subtle and understated. It had depth, significance, and was elegant. Suddenly, it vanished. A new era began. Everything shifted. Transient occurrences occurred. Royal occasions called for a variety of tiaras, each with its unique history. Up until an unexpected event, the Cartier halo tiara was absent, still, and nearly forgotten. Out of nowhere, everything shifted. Queen Camilla's shocking appearance while donning the identical tiara surprised onlookers. Nobody saw it coming. Everywhere you looked, people were startled and perplexed. The origins and significance of the tiara started to be questioned by some. Inquiring minds wanted to know if Catherine had ever owned it, and why Camilla had picked that particular moment to wear it. There is no hard and fast rule book for royal jewelry. Some, such as the royal jewels, are considered national treasures. They are reserved for solemn occasions like as coronations. Nevertheless, some, such as the Queen's personal tiaras, are in her personal collection. Cherished keepsakes that hold cherished memories and love. For important occasions, they are occasionally borrowed or given as gifts. Nobody has said what became of the borrowed tiara that Catherine wore on her wedding day. At that point, things start to get murky. It is possible that Camilla received the tiara upon becoming queen, if it remained in the possession of the queen until her death. The tiara may have become associated with Catherine's narrative and image, so it was unusual to see it on another person's head. It may have seemed as if something significant was being taken or altered covertly. There was silence from the palace. No announcement was made. Royal watchers speculate that Catherine may have planned to wear the tiara again, maybe for a future coronation or another significant event. Consequently, it was shocking and intimate to see it on someone else. What you wear is often more important than what you say when you're a royal. Tiaras and other jewels are more than just adornments. What memories they hold. Wearing them brings back memories of the ones who came before. They convey moral principles and subtle narratives. Wearing the tiara was a powerful symbol of Catherine's dedication, grace, and honor. She showed her respect for tradition by doing this, while maintaining composure and warmth. People are now curious in Camilla because of the tiara she is wearing. Was this merely an aesthetic decision, or an understated declaration of dominion? Wearing a tiara could be seen as a subtle attempt to change the past. The exact reason behind its return is a mystery, but the Cartier Halo tiara is certainly not one of them. The story of the royal family enters a new chapter as a result. Battles and yelling do not occur in this chapter. Subtle clues, unspoken emotions, and fleeting encounters with profound significance are the themes. Once again, the tiara is making its voice heard. Whoever looks at it will read what it says. Wearing the tiara was a sign of approval and respect for Camilla. She began from where, though? Remain with us, the winding path to the throne. It took time for Camilla to become a princess. No magical moment or sudden acclaim from the general population occurred. Quiet and unhurried, her journey was wrought with miscommunication, suffering, and waiting. She was just Camilla Shand, a commoner living far from royal palaces, long before she was linked to a monarch. She first crossed paths with Prince Charles at a friend's house in the early 1970s. They became close via common interests, laughter, and love. Camilla was a natural fit for his lifestyle and a constant presence at polo events. But after Charles enlisted in the Navy, they gradually became distant. Rumor has it that he never once told her to be patient. Some think they were forced to separate by his family so he could marry someone better suited to the job. While Charles was overseas, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, but some believe she harbored lingering affections for him. It was already too late when Charles came back. Married life was Camilla's reality. Years went by. Charles wed Lady Diana Spencer in 1981. Everyone thought the fairy tale had started when Diana was crowned queen. However, behind the palace doors, there were problems with the marriage from the beginning. Charles had reconciled with Camilla by the late 80s. Their connection remained strong. It was as if I had returned home. Once Diana learned the truth, she publicly approached Camilla and told her to step back. The depth of Camilla and Charles's past, however, meant that they stayed close. After then, controversy ensued in the 1990s. Diana made her suffering public. Charles and Camilla's shocking phone conversation was revealed to the public. That responsibility was placed on Camilla. She went from hero to villain, in a tale that many hoped had a heroine. Both unions crumbled, never one to speak up or demand attention. Camilla kept her distance. Charles had her whole attention. Camilla declined to accept Diana's former title upon their 2005 wedding. She was bestowed the title of Duchess of Cornwall as a mark of respect. A lot of time happened. Camilla went about her duties in silence, visiting charity, going to events, and being kind. However, Diana's aura continued to cast a shadow on many. After William, the people's favorite became Catherine, his wife. Catherine's charisma, kindness, and profound regard for Diana made her an instant hit. Afterwards, a fleeting moment rekindled profound emotions. Catherine wore the Cartier Halo tiara on her wedding day, but she hadn't worn it since. Camilla made an appearance while she was wearing it. For Catherine, it was quite personal, according to many. Camilla was now sporting it. Why, therefore? A rationale was not provided. Royal attire, however, conveys more meaning than words alone. It seemed like a message about rivalry rather than tradition to some. For some reason, Camilla, who had always been reserved and circumspect, suddenly started making her presence felt like it belonged to someone else. The two women started to be publicly compared by more people. A modern-day princess, Catherine is adored, graceful, and kind. Even if she may not always feel loved, Camilla is queen in name only. Even though she had been quietly serving for years, the tiara brought up old fears. A crown is not enough. All eyes were on a young woman as she stepped into a brand new chapter of her life. Prince William and Catherine Middleton were to be married. Everyone was waiting to see her, no matter where they were or what time zone they were in. Westminster Abbey exuded an air of tranquility and serenity as she stepped inside. Her dreamlike ivory lace robe was the stuff of fairy tales. As if every step were significant, she walked carefully and smiled softly. The garment wasn't, however, the focal point of attention. There was no grandiose glimmer to its glitter. It had much deeper significance for Catherine than what other people perceived it as, a lovely piece of royal jewelry. Queen Elizabeth used to own the tiara. For this momentous occasion, it had been loaned to Catherine. That token of appreciation has deep significance. It was a subtle way of letting you know that we now count you among us. Catherine was given options. Instead of donning a daring, contemporary, or more meaningful tiara, she opted for this one, which is connected to the Queen Mother and Queen Elizabeth. Without uttering a word, her choice communicated something. Standing out wasn't her intention. With reverence and remembrance for her ancestors, she cautiously entered her new life. Nobody could have helped but take note. Because of her sweet nature and delicate looks, several people said she was too much like Princess Diana. In Queen Elizabeth's serene eyes, onlookers perceived her silent power. This wasn't an act. Catherine wasn't attempting to mimic anyone. She was just being lovely, considerate, and graceful, just being herself. An insider at the palace claimed that Catherine understood the significance of remaining silent. As the tiara shimmered gently that day, she allowed it to do the talking. Still, some were dissatisfied. Rumors circulated. Speculation circulated that Queen Camilla had wished for a tiara that was not so closely associated with Queen Elizabeth. Though kind, Catherine's decision might have alienated some. Sparkle wasn't the only thing. It was all about legacy and history. Instead of a flower crown, Camilla had originally proposed that Catherine wear a tiara. Although she agreed, Catherine picked one with profound significance. She was subtly demonstrating her readiness and strength. Some people thought she was trying to convey something, perhaps not vocally, but by her choices. The tiara made headlines once again when Camilla wore it to a subsequent royal event. Was it a symbol of solidarity or something else entirely? When it comes to royal life, actions speak louder than words. The tiara disappeared for quite some time after the wedding. After a while, it came back. This time around, it was Camilla, and once again, many started to ask, "Why now?" "I don't understand. Were you passing it on or taking it back?" Regardless of the outcome, it is certain that Catherine accomplished more than merely marrying a prince that day. Stepping into a new environment, she gracefully, amiably, and subtly navigated the rules, tasks, and pressures that came with it. Neither a loud voice nor the most elaborate crown were necessary for her. She revealed herself to the world as a strong-willed, courageous woman with every decision she made, not merely a bride or a princess. Every silent vow she quietly took that day has been kept by her throughout the years. Tempests passed without her flinching. In spite of difficulties, she maintained her smile. In a world when it's easy to feel chilly, she gave warmth. Not everything within the palace was peaches and cream. There were personal battles, bruised sentiments, and times when she had to pull herself together. Catherine, though, never allowed herself to be hardened by them. She maintained an open heart. Early in the year 2024, Catherine revealed a deeply private matter. Cancer was announced to the world by her. She accomplished it without delivering a theatrical speech. Perched on a garden bench, she spoke candidly and in a low voice. Her treatments, anxieties, and hopes were all discussed. In that instant, another type of power was shown. Being a duchess or an aspiring queen wasn't enough for her. A mother, a wife, and a courageous and compassionate lady, she faced adversity head-on. She kept others in mind even while she struggled. For the sake of her family and herself, she pleaded for seclusion. Her usual elegance and kindness were on full display. It touched people all throughout the world. The rumors subsided for a time. Fashion and titles were omitted from the stories. They dealt with themes like bravery, compassion, and love. Catherine made an effort to avoid the spotlight. Resting, spending time with loved ones, and achieving inner calm were her top priorities. Even when she made a triumphant return to Troop in the Color in June 2024, the focus was not on her attire. She was quietly courageous. Nothing more was required of her. It was clear just by being there. Her fairy tale may have begun with the tiara she wore to her wedding. Everything she has done thereafter, though, is where the true magic lies. It shows in the gentle manner she moves about, against all odds, with her generosity. That delicate tiara was more than skin deep. It was an assurance, symbolic of her past and future selves, the conflict concealed by regal grins. Jewels, more than anything else, hold significance in the realm of royalty. When this Cartier halo tiara was young, it was among numerous valuables. Nice, certainly, but nothing out of the ordinary. As soon as Catherine slipped it on for her wedding day, everything changed. The light caught the tiara, and it glittered as she walked down the aisle. It was more than a crown. It represented a fresh start, elegance, and inner power. It captivated the entire world, exactly as they had developed romantic feelings for her. The tiara was then bound to Catherine. No matter who owned it, it seemed like hers. The tiara made a triumphant return years later, adorning Queen Camilla's head. A piece of jewelry to the average person, but a symbol of royalty to those who knew what they were doing. Nobody in the palace wears anything by coincidence. There is a message in every necklace, brooch, and tiara, as well as the time when Camilla sported the tiara from Catherine's magical occasion. People started to pause and ask, was it a tradition? Could that have been a subtle challenge or message? Many felt Camilla was demonstrating her authority. Eventually, she became queen after waiting for a long period, remaining silent during difficult circumstances. Maybe she was trying to signal, "I'm here now," by donning the tiara. That wasn't the case, though, for several. It seemed as if a narrative were being reworked wordlessly. The tiara belonged to more than simply royalty. It belonged to cherished memories. And now those recollections were either passed on or stolen. Camilla and Catherine are not fighting in public, nothing dramatic or harsh. However, in royal life, a diamond, a smile, or a position might convey a multitude of emotions. There are rumors that Camilla was unhappy with Catherine's wedding tiara. Catherine made the lovely decision to wear it in honor of Queen Elizabeth, even if she subtly advised something else. It was a matter of deference, not defiance. Still, there are many who believe a tiny knot of tension began to form at that moment. A lot of time happened. Then the tiara made its triumphant comeback, this time atop a new head and carrying a new significance. Could it have been merely a runway show? Or was it a more intimate matter, rekindling a dormant emotion? It is quite unlikely that we will ever know. However, this much is evident. Now the tiara has significance. Nothing beats the value of diamonds and gold. Two powerful ladies, one royal and the other a commoner, traverse the story's landscape side by side, but ultimately choose divergent roads. The next big thing is Catherine. Love is something she has never sought. Because of her gentle nature, reverence for tradition, and unassuming self-assurance, it came to her softly. Right now, Camilla is here. Her path was treacherous and winding. Over time, she was able to earn her spot by patiently waiting and serving. The crown was not bestowed to her. It was discreetly amassed, bit by bit. They are now connected through symbols rather than words in their stories. Additionally, the tiara represents the two of them. Some people interpret it as a sign of competition. A connection between generations is what some perceive. But that's a consensus. Something subtly shifted in the monarchy's narrative when that tiara made a triumphant return. In certain cases, the most unexpected person ends up wearing the crown. And that says a lot. The Queen owned the tiara, but Catherine obtained it through her connection to the Queen. How were they as a couple? We'll have to see. Under the illumination of the Queen. No matter how loud she spoke, Queen Elizabeth II was always understood. She was a silent leader who commanded respect and admiration. Little decisions were big deals in her universe. Royal tradition wasn't the only reason she let Catherine wear the Cartier Halo tiara to her wedding. It had deeper, more intimate significance. The crown jewels did not include the tiara. The imperial family owned it. The gift of allowing Catherine to wear it was both personal and considerate. Deep trust and the subtle transmission of history were demonstrated by this modest act. It was no little feat. Actually, no public address could compare to its significance. This demonstrated how much of a treasure Catherine had become to the Queen and the royal family. It seems as though Queen Elizabeth had recognized and appreciated Catherine's inherent royal charisma from the start. Catherine lacked ostentation. She refrained from attempting to deflect attention. On the contrary, she exemplified the Queen's demeanor with subtle elegance, unwavering commitment, and a firm grasp of responsibility. A delicate friendship developed between the two ladies over the years. Sweet, simple moments like sharing tea or standing shoulder to shoulder at public events were shared by them. They could have communicated simply. The mutual regard between them was gentle, unwavering, and respectful. The gentleness, serenity, and quiet power of Catherine were compared by some palace insiders to those of the Queen's mother. They were clearly very close because of how they spent every day together. It went without saying, and the tiara the Queen selected for Catherine's wedding made it crystal obvious. The Queen selected a tiara from her personal collection, but she had her pick of many. That decision wasn't made at random. It was brimming with love and significance. "I trust you," was conveyed silently. However, Catherine's gradual ascent in the royal family did not sit well with everyone. Many difficult years had passed for Queen Consort Camilla. She was met with criticism. For a long time, she remained in the background, gradually carving out her own niche in the realm of royalty. Her trip had been considerably more challenging. The burden of criticism continued to weigh on Camilla even after she wed Charles. It appeared as though effortlessly won over the Queen's heart. Real warmth, not merely a title, was bestowed upon Catherine. What a difference that warmth made! Even her own family's treatment of her was affected by it. A tangible manifestation of this subtle fondness was the tiara that the Queen had bestowed upon her. The fate of Queen Elizabeth's jewels was a mystery to many following her death. Which one would be awarded to whom? Were any particular arrangements made? Yet the royal residence maintained its hushed silence. Neither names nor a list were divulged. Nothing was disclosed. Shortly thereafter, Camilla made an appearance with the dazzling Cartier halo tiara. It seemed like more than simply a fashion choice to many viewers. It was perplexing. The tiara had become inextricably linked to Catherine's nuptials and her relationship with the Queen. It looked weird on Camilla's head. It gave some folks the creeps, as if someone had secretly showed them something very personal without their knowledge or consent. The tiara was Camilla's choice, but why? Did it fit the mold? Was that a deliberate choice, or was she trying to convey something? The answer is uncertain. Something felt to have changed, though, for those who had witnessed the Queen's delicate support of Catherine during the years. Jewels are more than just ornaments in the realm of royalty. Feelings, memories, and subtle tales are all carried on their backs. Reappearing on a different person at a different moment gave the tiara a fresh glitter. It brought to recall the Queen's considerate decisions, her subtle expressions of concern, and the gentle power she always exhibited. Those little moments remind us of her existence even now. What royal diamonds convey goes beyond mere glimmer. Jewelry holds a deeper significance in the realm of royalty than just being an accessory. It conveys meaning subtly. Each and every necklace, tiara, and brooch has a little tale to tell. While some display authority, others relay anecdotes. On occasion, they even disclose emotions that members of the royal family choose to keep hidden. So, the Cartier Halo tiara was more than simply a fashion accessory for Queen Camilla. It was interpreted as a message by many. Royal jewels vary greatly. The crown jewels contain items that are officially owned by the country, but some pieces, such as the Cartier Halo tiara, are considered personal treasures. The family keeps these heirlooms for generations. They are treasured possessions that are passed down through generations. They are significant, and donning them evokes strong feelings. Belonging to the monarch's personal collection, these artifacts are frequently associated with sentimental, emotional, and trusting times. Nobody knows what became to the jewels that belonged to Queen Elizabeth II after her death. The public was not provided with any list. Most people thought it went to King Charles. Under the law, he probably did. But the rule of law is only one aspect of royal existence. Emotions play a role as well. Because of the memories associated with them, some jewels seem to belong to specific people. The Cartier Halo Tiara was worn by Princess Catherine of Wales on her wedding day. There was more to it than meets the eye. A little homage, that was it. The tiara radiated elegance and tranquility, mirroring Catherine's own demeanor. She was loaned it from the personal collection of Queen Elizabeth. Even that seemingly insignificant deed seemed to be the Queen's approval. It was a sweet token of affection between two queens. When Catherine puts on jewelry, she gives it a lot of consideration. To her, each item is meaningful. The sapphire ring that belonged to Diana or the brooch that belonged to the Queen, each have stories to tell. She prefers understated elegance. It's respectful, considerate, and low-key. People look up to her in part because of that. She keeps her profile low. Kind and graceful, she only does her job. As a result, Camilla's Cartier Halo tiara attracted a lot of unwanted attention. Many thought she had stolen from Catherine something that was rightfully hers, not legally, but emotionally. The awkwardness was amplified by the time. The public has grown to adore Catherine. A lot of people think she will be the Queen's successor. Her beauty and generosity have earned her many admirers. Acceptance has been more of a challenge for Camilla. Catherine may be the Queen, but to some, she represents royalty in a different way. In that split second, a photo of Camilla donning the tiara went viral. Nothing about it suggested a solemn homage. There was an air of messagery about it. Perhaps it meant the crown had slipped away. Whatever the case may be, its significance was felt by many. They couldn't shake it. Jewelry is more than just a decorative item in a royal family's life. There is tradition, history, and significance in it. The Cartier Halo tiara has evolved into more than just a stunning accessory. It now signifies a significant point in history. It reveals the intersection of two royal roots. Two women, the seasoned and esteemed Camilla, and the charming and promising young Catherine. This is about more than only the tiara's ownership. What counts is the opinion of those who think it should be worn. Emotions hold equal weight as regulations inside the royal family. Crowns aren't the only thing at stake here. Allegiance, custom, and the people's beloved ones are at the heart of the matter. The tale behind a tiara is more meaningful than its dazzling appearance. The gem isn't the focal point of this serene royal moment. What counts is the unspoken meaning it conveys. A lot of people had opinions and questions after the photo made it to the headlines. Everyone was talking about it. Now, let's jump right in. The head of state, the stillness, and the upheaval. Wearing the Cartier Halo tiara, Queen Camilla likely did not anticipate such a passionate response. I got a reply very away. It had a lot of emotion. The ordinarily serene realm of royalty was caught unawares by this development. A lot of people were talking about how she should not have worn the tiara. The fact that no one from Buckingham Palace said anything just made matters worse. Neither a message nor an explanation was provided. Not a single word of consolation. More suspicion was aroused by this lack of sound. Their concerns seemed to be subtly validated. A lot more than merely seeking answers was going on. To feel seen was their desire. They were curious as to why Princess Catherine's beloved was now with someone else. The general population saw this as more than just a style statement. Loyalty seemed to be at the heart of everything. Catherine is often regarded as the beating heart of the British royal family. Her politeness and kind nature win her many fans. She is exceptionally reserved and never demands attention. Her deeds, rather than her words, speak volumes about her strength. She has included the tiara she wore to her wedding tale. Her serene beauty is a fitting reflection of her royal position. Thus, it was hurtful for many when Camilla donned the identical tiara. Passions flared. Quickly taking to social media, many expressed their sentiments. Images of the two ladies donning the tiara were perused. Shock, despair, and wrath were all there in the response. Everyone was on high alert, felt as though someone had tampered with something personal without authorization. Queen Kate and the Not Your Tiara hashtags quickly went viral. Some people didn't see this as a minor royal matter. It was so intimate. It seemed like Catherine's quiet fortitude was being unnoticed by those who had been following her trip from the start. The tiara had significance beyond its aesthetic value. It seems like someone else was now attempting to alter that narrative. A flurry of coverage ensued in the media. All over the place were articles whose titles were bold. Others claimed it was merely an error. Some people thought the palace might have more serious issues. The members of the royal family were questioned, but they chose not to respond. Questions of authority, decision-making, and the nature of what may be going on behind closed doors began to circulate. Perhaps everything got a little out of hand. It was the talk of the town. One thing was obvious, regardless of the reality. People were very concerned. To the untrained eye, the tiara may appear insignificant. The sentiments underlying it, though, were enormous. Events like this don't occur frequently in the reticent realm of monarchy. When they do, it sticks in people's minds. There was more of a shock than just the tiara in this tale. Surprisingly, nobody spoke. No word came out of Buckingham Palace. Perhaps they were hoping the din would subdue. Still, stillness can convey a lot. On this occasion, it conveyed a great deal. When does this end? Aside from being a group of blood relatives, the royal family is also a powerful symbol. In the perspective of many, it represents tradition, responsibility, and direction. Anything that happens within the royal family might have far-reaching consequences. The Cartier Tiara, which Queen Camilla wore, made this quite evident. A lot of people thought Princess Catherine should have been the one to get it. It may appear to be nothing more than a lovely piece of jewelry at first glance, but in the realm of royalty, nothing is ever straightforward. A crown, a brooch, or a clothing might convey a subtle message. All throughout the globe, people are feeling these signals, and occasionally they lead people to question, where is the monarchy going? By what means is the true leader being recognized? Many sought consolation from others following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Many people grew to think of Princess Catherine in such light. Being the center of attention is never her goal. On the contrary, her inner strength is on full display. Her poise, generosity, and consistent effort have earned her the respect of everyone around her. Her connection with the public is profound, one that brings to mind the image of the Queen. Without being overbearing or ostentatious, Catherine's fame is genuine and unwavering. People need role models during times of transition, thus this is crucial. A sense of regal pride is something they are striving for. People can look forward to a peaceful, benevolent and contemporary future because of Catherine and Prince William. The tale of Camilla is really unique. Life has not been kind to her. Her life has been full with highs and lows. Even now, her coronation is not universally accepted. It was clearly more than a style statement when she chose to mimic Catherine's bridal tiara. The tiara has a connection to Catherine's journey as a princess. It was as if donning it conveyed a subtle message of competition. The public started to question whether this was an accident or an indication of authority. This minor deed brought up a considerably more substantial inquiry. Who will the future royal family be like? It seems like there are two roads to go right now. Titles and regulations form the basis of one. The other is grounded in genuine emotions and love. Do you have any opinions? Who will be the one to get this tiara back? Post your opinions down below and hit the like, share, and subscribe button while you're at it. Please watch the video that is currently playing on your screen before you leave.